Hello everyone, my name is Yimei Yuan, and today I'm presenting on my culture inventory as a product of culture globalization. As we went through this course, I have had taken a deeper thought into what culture is and what it means for me, rather than taking it for granted. According to Peterson, culture represents the collective ideas that embedded in material environments and social networks and pass on through the legs of reproduction. Phillips also suggested that culture is the shared meaning between people, passed on from generation to generation. For me, culture means the concepts, surroundings, ideas, commonly accepted practice that surround me and that of which I identify with. It is the common values and the interests inherited through the people around me, passed down from my parents, gathering from my friends, which ultimately define how I belong in the environment and how I react to things. When I was young, my culture was from the northeast part of China. This is composed of artifacts such as corn and the ground heating because it is cold, and the food such as skewer or noodles that are high in fat, and starch to keep us warm. Clothing were more reserved and practical, and because Chinese culture have a strong sense of hierarchy and demand respect of face, what you wear is often judged by others, meaning people often wear clothes that are more formal or stylish. However, a concept of culture that was very meaningful to me was Patton's non-essentialist understanding of culture, and that culture is not set of shared practice and beliefs, but rather transmission between generations. At the same time, Curie suggested that globalization result in increasing interconnectedness and interdependency of social, culture, and economic phenomena across national boundaries. However, globalization more importantly also denote the travel of information, people bringing into other culture information about their own practices, beliefs, traditions, artifacts, etc. Growing up in Northeast China transformed from a local community to a more global transnational community with influences from Korea, Japan, Russia, and more importantly, the Western world. Traditional food are becoming less and less common, replaced by Western fast food such as McDonald's and KFC. Clothing is becoming more modern with Western influence, with people being more aware of global fashion and buying imported branded clothes from Europe and America. Our culture in television have also changed, from shows about local stories to American drama, from traditional music and folk songs to rap that is very popular in China now. In 2015, I came to Australia for study, and I become more of a product of globalization. As Macy's highlighted, the modern era is a time where things are speeding up. Experience a phase of internationalization, space and time is becoming compressed, and it is more and more difficult to find homogeneous communities in light of fragmentation and disruption. Having lived in Australia for 5 years, the multicultural aspect of Australia have impacted me significantly. Where I traditionally would be only eating Chinese food, I am encouraged in Australia to also try food from different countries, such as Japan, Greece, Italy, Mexico, etc. Australia also have significantly more relaxed style of fashion. Whereas I usually wear to impress in China, I would wear for comfort in Australia. Wearing a sandal around which would be impossible in China. There is especially the case since I live around Chinatown in Sydney. And the sense of the place. It's an interconnecting community with multiple identity, each creating influence on my values and interests. As such, I believe that I am a product of cultural globalization, from the traditional culture of Northeast China during childhood to the influence of Western influences growing up to the multicultural community in Australia. I have changed significantly and become more global than before. The influences of different culture that I have experienced remind me of the concept of culture habitat and authenticity. I have come to embrace a large aspect of global culture in a digital age where information was available, and I define myself as a part of large global transnational community. However, sometimes I also think that I am losing where is unique in my cultural identity, since what was traditional and unique about Northeast China is being flooded by outside influences from other culture. However, I still agree with Macy's concept of a sense of place, in that it evolves over time. It is not frozen, rather progress with time and the people living in these places. Overall, I'm quite happy where I am now, identifying myself as a part of global community and being open to a wide array of cultural influences that help me to define how I fit into the world. This concludes my presentation. Thank you for listening.